Hi, and welcome to class. This is a wind down for bed. I'll be using a block and demoing with that. If you don't have a block, you can use something similar. So we'll start on our back with the block. It's next to you. Lie down with the knees bent. And first, we'll start taking the hands behind the head. So you're cupping your skull. Lift and draw your chin forward, like more towards your chest. And let your head feel heavy in the hands as you slowly lower it back down, creating length in the neck. If there's a lot of tension in the neck and that does not feel good, just slide the back of your head further up your mat. Then let your hands rest on your ribs. Take a big breath in. Feel the ribs expand beneath the hands. And as you release, feel the ribs soften. Feel the rest of the body soften. Breathe in and out. Do your best here to make that a really full breath. A lot of times the tissue and the sides of the body is restricted or tight, so try to breathe into that space. Reach to grab your block. Press into your feet, engage your glutes to lift the hips up, and take your block on the lowest level underneath your pelvis. The back of the pelvis there is what's called your sacrum, and we're placing the block directly underneath that. It's a flat bone, it's the fused vertebrae at the base of the spine. So we want our pelvis to feel supported here. And you can take your hands back to your ribs. Feel the breath move underneath the hands. We want to feel that the low back is long and lengthening here. This is a really nice release for the lumbar spine. So allow that area in particular, the low back, to soften or release towards the ground. Press into your feet. Engage your glutes to lift the hips off of your block. Slide the block over to the side. Pause for a moment, extending the hips, opening up the front of the hips here. Again, with the long, low back. Slowly lower the middle of your spine down. Once you have the middle down, then slowly lower the low back down. And lastly, follow with the pelvis. That was a lot. You can stay on the ground. Otherwise, we'll lift up one more time to do that. So anchor the tailbone towards your knees. Lift the pelvis up. Lift the low back up. And lift the middle of your back up. Slowly lower the middle down. Do your best. Just opening up all of this low back down, and then lastly the pelvis. Right here, pull the knees in towards you. You can do one at a time if you'd like. Really nice squeeze so they're pulling in as much as they can. Now you have an option to take the block in between the legs if you'd like. And as we're hugging the legs in, we're letting them come over to the left. So you're lying on your left side. The block is an option. Reach both arms over to the left. Then trace the right arm up by your right ear and all the way over to the right. You can have it out into a T or even goal post it. Stay or try that 2 more times. Reach it up by your ear all the way over to the left. Tracing it along the floor all the way over to the right. If there's any pain or areas of restriction that are very uncomfortable, then don't go as far. You don't have to take it into such a big range of motion. This last one, pause, big inhale. Balloon the breath into the right ribs and exhale. Retrace the right hand all the way over to the left. And the hands come to the knees. Pull them back in so that you come onto your back. And we'll take this over to the right, to the opposite side. Both arms go to the right. Begin to trace the left arm up by the ear all the way over to the left. And retrace all the way over to the right. Or again, you can stay over to the left if you prefer. There's no place in particular that you have to go. You're just noticing what's opening for you. We all have different ranges of motion. And this last one will stay open and pause. If anything is uncomfortable to the point where you cannot breathe, then try reaching up by the ear instead of opening up all the way. Maybe you take a big sigh out on your next exhale. Start to retrace that left arm all the way over to the right. And take hold of the knees and pull them in towards you as you come onto your back. Set the block off to the side, but I'll help cue with it if you'd like to use it. And pull the knees in and begin to rock side to side. You can take this over to one side and use your hands to come up, or you can start to rock forward and back. Again, we'll come up. So either way, meeting in a tabletop position. So as we come to the hands and knees, you turn the fingertips back towards the knees. Maybe you close your eyes and you start to rock side to side. The knees can be hip width apart or wider. There's a light engagement in the abdominals just so that we're not sinking and collapsing in the back. Begin to make circles here on the wrist and reverse. If that's too much for the wrist, you can always have the fingertips towards the sides of the mat, or that might even just feel better. And come to arrive slowly into stillness so that you're stacking the shoulders over the wrist. And turn the fingertips back to face the front of your mat. You can slide them over now to the right and step your left foot, or wiggle it, however you need to get it forward, to the outside of the hands. You can use your blocks underneath the hands if you'd like. Take a breath here. In and out. There's an option if you want it. You can curl your back toes and lift your right knee off the ground, engaging the right glute, and then pressing back through the right heel. That can offer some opening for the right foot. One more breath. Now lift your right knee up, even if you haven't yet. Try it. Turn the toes to the right. Leave your hands to the left foot and bend into your right knee to sit back in the right hip. It's like a side lunge, but the hands stay towards your left foot. Breathe in and out. Now take a side lunge to the left and bring your hands to center. Breathe in and out. Turn to the back of your mat so you're on your right leg, and then lower the left knee down. Remember, the block is there for you, right? Adjust it if you need to. Breathe in and out. Now, leaving the left hand down, turn your torso towards your right thigh. You can use the right hand on the leg if you'd like, or you could even drape it around you if you prefer, towards the low back. The option here would be to lift the left knee off the ground if you want. One more breath in and out. Take your gaze down and slide your right leg back so you're coming into a modified, side plank. The left wrist is directly under the shoulder. Reach the right arm up past your right ear and lift up through the right side of your body. Feel free to stay with this, or you can lift up into gate and bring the right hand on the right thigh. The left arm reaches up and over. Gently bring it back down to where you were, reaching the right arm up by the right ear. And one more time, we'll lift up if you'd like, reach, and then slowly bring it back down. Okay, you have an option here to just turn the right toes and the right knee towards the back, which is the front of the mat. You can relax the neck here. Or if you feel more open and you'd like, you can take your right hand for your right foot for a nice quad stretch. Again, release the neck if that feels okay. If you took hold of your foot, gently release it down. Then bring both hands down and walk it over to the right. Curl your left toes under and sit back towards those toes, opening up the inside of the right thigh. Reach the left arm up to the sky and exhale and thread. Repeat that 2 more times, or again, you can stay still. On the last one, we'll pause. If you want to use your block, you can take it underneath the left side of the head, especially if that left shoulder doesn't come down. But either way is fine, with or without the block, shoulder touching or not. Put a little more weight to the hips instead of the head or the neck or the shoulder. One more big inhale and exhale. Push up gently to the hands and walk yourself to the front of your mat. Take your block with you and lift up into a low lunge. Take your hands on top of the right thigh and push into the right thigh. Engage your left glute. Lift the torso up and away from the pelvis the best you can to open up the left hip. We're not sinking forward, we're stacking over the left knee. If you want to add on to this, the left arm can reach up to the sky. You can even take the left hand behind the head. Continue to draw the ribs down, but You can lift the sternum up to the sky. Gently come back up. Bring both hands down to your block or the ground. We'll start the other side. So curl your left toes if you want. Lift your left knee off the ground. Drive your left heel back. The length in the front and the back of the torso. Full inhales. Exhale. Turn all of your toes to the left. Keep your hands towards your right foot. And then bend into your left knee and sit back into your left hip. You can always bring the feet closer towards one another if you'd like. Create length from the left outer hip all the way to the left fingertips. Take a side lunge to the right and the hands come more underneath the shoulders. Long spine. You can even wiggle. So we just want to make sure we're not sinking in the torso so it's not collapsing to the ground, but lengthening. Turn to the back of your mat. Block can come with you. Lower the right knee down. Now, keeping the right hand down on the ground or at the block, turn your torso to the left. You can take the left hand up. You could drape it around to the low back. Your choice. It can also just stay on the left thigh. Feel the breath in the ribs. Relax the muscles in the face if you're clenching. Take your gaze down, and you can remove the block if you're comfortable with that. The wrist is directly under your shoulder. Walk your left foot over to the left. You can swivel the right foot behind you for a modified side plank. So now the right wrist, knee, and heel are in line with one another. You're still long in the low back here. Reach the left arm up by the left ear. Make a big rainbow shape, not by sitting the hips back, but keeping that extension there, that space in the front of the pelvis. Stay or lift up. Bring the left hand on the left leg and reach the right arm up by the right ear. Return to where you were, right wrist under the right shoulder on your mat, left arm reaches up by the left ear. Come back up, left hand on the left thigh, reach. As you bring it down this time, you can reach the left arm past the ear. Maybe the left toes and knee just stay, or you turn them towards the front of the mat, bending the knee. You could also reach back, reach your left hand for your left foot, take hold, creating space, more space in the left anterior hip or in the front. You can relax the neck here too. Big sighs out. It's really nice to open the mouth if you can. Let the breath go there. Slowly release the foot if you took hold. Walk your hands over towards the left. Curl your right toes and sit your hips back. Now leave the left fingers or hands down. Right arm reaches up. Exhale and thread. I'm going to turn towards you. Reach the right arm up. Exhale and thread. One more time. This time we'll pause. Again, that option this way is for the block underneath the head if you would like to use it, more weight is towards our hips, not towards the head. Breathe. We don't want any pinching or pain here. It should feel like opening. So if that is the case with any amount of pain, then we'd come out. Right? You can stay with both hands on your mat. Take one more full breath here. Perhaps you sigh out. Push up using the hands. Okay. Turn to the front of your mat, adjusting the left foot as you need to bend your left knee. Again, block underneath the knee is an option. We'll lift up into a 90-90 lunge, hands on the left thigh and push away. Stay with this, just engaging the right glute, lifting the torso. Or you can reach the right arm up towards the sky. Make space on the right side. Stay or bring the hand behind the head. Head leans towards the hand. You're still controlling the front as you lift the sternum up. Slowly bring both hands down to the ground. Find your table position and swivel the feet out so the knees stay underneath your hip points, but you're trying to rotate the thighs towards one another. So it's internally rotating the thighs. And we'll take a cat-cow here. Again, just like we did at the beginning, try to control the movement so that you're not dumping into that extension, which is the back bend part. Like when you're letting the belly go towards the ground, still control that movement in the front. Release. One more. We'll bring your feet behind the knees and we'll take big barrel rolls. So this is nice to free up the whole torso. You're just taking the ribs over to the right, towards the ground, left, and then up to the sky. Reverse your circle. You can even think about a hula hoop, because you can move the pelvis with this. But just start somewhere. Make your movement smaller, slowly. Take your time. And eventually you arrive in stillness. Swivel your feet over to one side and come onto your back. You can come to a wall if you'd like. Take the feet up the wall. Or you can just be on your back. Either way. Take your left ankle over your right thigh. If you're on the wall, your right foot could be on the wall. If you are just on your back on your mat, you can take the hands around the right hamstring if you would like. The neck is long here, just like we did at the beginning of our practice. After the movement that you've taken, notice that you've released more tension. It has fallen away or released out with your breath. Slowly switch sides. Bring your right ankle on top of your left thigh. The left foot can walk down the wall, or you can take the hands around the hamstring. Breathe in and out. Allow the exhales to create softness. Create a sense of ease. Gently release your feet to the wall or to the ground. You can walk your feet a little bit wider and let your knees fall towards one another. You can try it elevated on the wall or with your feet on the ground. Breathe in and out. Choose where you'd like to go for your Shavasana. If you're on your wall, you can slide the legs up. Another option would be, if you have two blocks, to take those blocks underneath the thighs. I'll show you with that. They come underneath the thighs, the hips stay on the ground, and the legs just slide out. Just choose for you what feels the best. This can be a nice traction there to lightly traction the thighs. Arms come by your side, maybe into a big T, maybe a little bit closer to the body. Big inhale. Exhale. Give yourself permission to let go. Sometimes the mind challenges us, so count the length of your inhale, the length of your exhale if you need. Trying to make the exhale slightly longer than your inhale. Soften each muscle in your body. Shavasana. Bring your awareness back to your breath. Start to move through the fingers, the toes. Maybe you make fists and create wrist circles. You might clench the toes and make ankle circles, or spread the fingers, spread the toes. Now, depending on if you are going directly to sleep, you can always just let go. Maybe you're close to your bed and you just crawl in. Otherwise, start to walk your feet towards your hips. Roll to your side. Pause to thank yourself for this time. And lift up to a seat. Closing the eyes, if that works for you, and bringing the hands together in front of the heart. One of my favorite reminders or quotes is, the time to relax is when we don't have time for it. Thank yourself for taking the time for you. And I thank you for allowing me to guide you through this practice. Namaste.